Can we please use your church and form to train these children? So that's how we started. So she trained them, she did every Friday. They would assemble for 2 hours, train them on something, then they release them back to the streets. But unfortunately, at that point, these were a little bit bigger boys, 4 kids, everybody, just a mixture. They actually stole electrical fittings, everything, they're from the streets. And when they look at something loose, they say that this can be money. So they were actually banned from that particular church. So they went to St. Paul. I went to St. Paul, university. So there the father said we can use the our contract. Yeah. So as I was doing that, there was an American lady whose husband was a senior person at the UNICEF in the region. So they used to go to their honey farm in Karen every Friday. So every time they are seeing a lady here with very tattered kids, treating them with something. So they got interested, and one day they stopped. So the wife, that is Marilyn George, actually got interested, and she offered to be joining the 2 aunts, and she offered to be coming with bread and milk every Friday. So now they got on the 3 ladies, and there are very many streets. So in the meantime, there's somebody from this in Viva Towers. His name is Cordero, and he was a cardinal, an important, a very rich person. And every time he would go to the gym, he would see them. And so when he got students, so he sent for them to come and see. So they came and explained themselves. So this gentleman asked Anne, what do you want? What's your wish? Because this was actually like the first project dealing with street children and local directorship. Because before we had the Nairobi Society, SOS, which are all. So this guy was very curious. And then he said, I would love to have a place to meet these kids. Because I come, I see these kids like 2 hours every week. And when we start the session, we cannot connect. There's no eye-to-eye contact with these kids. But by the time you're done with the 2 hours, you're able to converse. You can see each other, we can connect. So if I had a place to lead these kids, I think I would transform. So that's how Anne came and identified the place at Kangeni, which was barely a quarter-acre plot with very many rooms. And Cordero came and paid rent for 1 year, gave the money for 3 months for food, and he took off. He said that's it. So that's how Shanghai started. With about 45 children and young people. It was a mixture. And you see now, this time, none of them go to school. No, there's no schooling. They were all sleeping in the streets. And the most basic things, they are not basic for them. Like over there, we had like 28 rooms and some 3 or 4 pit kitchens at the back. But they don't realize that you have to use the washroom. You don't use any corner. Then they just get in that corner. There's no one seeing me. That's where they leave themselves. So the training started from that level. That you must know this activity here. You must use the abusing each other was the law of the game. Beating each other for attention was the law of the game. Yeah. So very basic, taken for granted, but for some people in the streets, it's not for granted. Now, but moving forward, there was a tour company in Nairobi called the UTC, the touring company, and they got wind of what Anne was doing, which was a very well-known actress. And the director there was also used to love him. So he says they're sending tourists. Yeah. Whoever interested, you tell them, go and see a Kenyan initiative. Initiated by Kenyans for the Kenyans. So as they were doing that, people in the local community came forward. Some came to volunteer. There's a lady who came to volunteer as a mother. There's a gentleman who came to volunteer as a dad. So one day Anne had her speaking English. I mean, I heard him speaking English. This is Moses, I'm sure. Yeah. So, and he asked Moses, you know English? Why don't you start teaching these kids how to ask for water? That's a slogan for us. The most basic English. And Moses studied the school. The lady who was cleaning the chief, the rich ones, she was also like, hey, I heard you speak English, Emily. Why did you get the small ones and assemble? After the school started. So we kind of, we got a little bit of media coverage here and there. So when people got to know about us, so we got a lot of business coming in. We got a lot of, now undecided now, because there was too much time. The best thing is to start teaching them performance. And those she was very good. So she started teaching them performances, and especially drama. And they take them to the local churches, just go report before, ask for permission, and then everybody will be told. There will be speech coming here. So come do whatever you don't need. Yeah, come with footsteps. So when there's all that was happening, we have somebody just nearby. German television was also used to theater, and he was on attachment. He's a lawyer. He's actually on the board. The only one who's missing today. And he was a German television, and there was a new German TV boss, and he requested whether his wife can get a place to be volunteer. And this guy just got him straight to Shangilia. And from there, we got a lot of media coverage from the German television, a lot of it. At some point, you were invited to the Norfolk Hotel. They were launching the rights of the child, that is UNICEF. And these kids were there performing acrobats. And to be honest, this gentleman here, Peter, is part of the team of Shangilia Kids. He grew up, the acrobat is teaching here. She's actually learned from those days of army. So then after that, we got the coverage, and we got a lot of support. And they coming straight. Yeah, everybody was like, hey, this is a local initiative, let's get in there. So we tell them we got structure. So we got everybody as a volunteer. At some point, everybody was earning the same amount. Cleaners, the guards, teachers, within my communities. So they're all earning a standard amount. It's adjusted allowance to allow you to help you get to work. Yeah, but in the time now, we got more and more structured. And okay, unfortunately, Anne passed away in 2002. And personally, I had come in as a volunteer. I mean, I've been a businessman and a finance person all my life. So in my practice, I had a practicing firm for finance and accounts. And Sam, the director, he was one of my clients. The company he works for in the Netherlands, one of my clients. And Sam's dad, the old man, was the accountant in Shangilia. And he had problems with the eyesight. So Sam one day just asked me, yes, so my dad is asking if you can just once a week, something like that. The first thing was like, hey, how Sam, nobody to needs for me. So he said, okay, just go and tell me you can. Okay. Yeah, so I went to Shangilia, and I was like, okay, the day was coming. Marley Dodge also was on the board. So I found Marley Dodge, Anu and Jugu, and Sam's dad. So when I got in, Marley was very clear. Oh, you're here, no question asked. This is the office. Come and meet Mr. Mushai. That's Sam's dad. Yeah. And before I had anything to say, Anne had assembled the kids on stage. We also had a stage over there, very basic, and the kids on stage. So as we were talking with Marilyn and the accountant, the kids were singing. Okay. And I was like, oh my goodness, who would, if you look at financial gains, who can say yes to this? No. So I sat down and told them, okay, I'm going to give you guys 1 hour every week. So Fridays, please, I get all the, we were doing this because donors were coming on board, but they were like, we need to see a structure. We need to see reports. But the old man was too old to be doing that. So they needed somebody who can actually report to the donors, prepare the reports in good time. So I said 1 hour every week. So that's how I started. So 1 hour every week, usually 2 hours, 3 hours. And after that, now I could not even do the accounts because Every time I came in, I would find Anne. Anne was really interested. So she would actually line up all the indisciplined boys. Anybody who's born indisciplined in the last 1 week, line up there and wait for genders coming to you. So at the beginning, I was like, hey, I'm here to do this. To be honest, at the beginning, I was like scared of them. I was like, no. I remember there's one called Kabak. I'm just feeling my friends today, and it was rough. The streets, totally. Kamau is the kind of person one day who actually wrote Charlotte was fasting because he was demanding for money. Yeah. And he was afraid it. Peter came and actually scooped human waste and said, if I don't get money, I'm smearing everybody. And man has passed money at that particular point in time. So now he made sure that Kamau was number one on that. But to be honest, I was shocked when he came in and asked me, oh, what did you do? I'm talking about 26 years ago, so it's not possible. You can imagine I was not that was this point. Yeah. So when they saw Kamau, like say, hey, I'm sorry. So I told him, don't do that again. Don't let Mama complain again, okay? And Kamau started changing. So I was very proud of myself. So ideally, from that, I just transitioned into not a discipline master or a discipline officer, but more of hey, the boys, let's get talking. Yeah, let's go talking. This discipline is not necessary. You have to respect the guardian, you have to respect the visitors. Because ideally, you realize that some of these things they do or they did it wrong. Yeah. I tell you, we had one set of brothers who did not know that if we complain on each other, it's not enough. But they didn't go straight from the streets. So what they do, they will go to the kitchen after everybody has left. They will pick the stumps of fire, small ones. You still have fire. And that is what they were playing with. You feel complain on each other. And then when you get them, you tell them, hey, you child A, I don't mention their names, they are friends to all this. You A, can you say sorry to B? And B say sorry to A. You first cry. Cry before saying sorry. Because sorry was very, it's like you lost something. Yeah, you feel like you're powerless. Yeah. So now we stayed in that place for quite some years after Anne died. We employed a CEO who was there for about 2 years, but then she didn't have the vision. She understand. Because I can tell you, Anne really spoke to me about Chandelier before she died. She died yesterday. Friday we were talking, Sunday she was gone. Yeah, it was very fast. So I should be talking to me about it for quite some time. She learned from meningitis. Meningitis can take quite some time, right? You become a little senile, you become a little bit, there's hallucinations all the time. So she passed the grade as CEO for 2 years. Then she couldn't align herself with the vision of Chandelier. So she left. So I've seen a transition to this particular place. Remember, the other one was a Kotaika plot, very small with 28 unstructured rooms, very small space, which you just need a small stage, pit latrines and everything. But then also some German NGO came forward and bought this land for us. This is 6 acres, so it's a huge piece of land. Yeah. But we had supporters. Where we are seated here, we had supporters. Yeah, from this land here, like 300 households. So it took quite some negotiation. We took quite some number, I don't know what years to negotiate with them. And eventually you actually have to sit down, frustrate them to move, pay them off, and they move out. So that's what we started doing in this place. We just build magically. I mean, it's not that we had so much money. At some point we had half a pie. It was just half of this. So it was built by like 3 different donors. Then when it was done, one big donor from Germany came and said, I'm going to complete something. And the architect was a gentleman called David Woods. He's Irish. He's a top-notch architect in Kenya. He used to be the top architect for the President Point. He did this for both.
Everybody say build.
Yeah.
Everybody say Jenga.
It's a story of Tanzania. You know, this young man, this whole thing. When he came to Tanzania, he was this size. He was like a little boy he used to carry around. Yes, yes, and he calls himself Semuka Washington. Yeah, those are the games who made me proud. He even come out. He was the same size. Yeah, Ken. Nobody Ken's story very well. I can talk about it. It's a young. Yeah. It's a gentleman here. I mean, you're from the neighborhood, isn't it? Yeah. So we used to work with the neighborhood. Yeah. Because they're only economically challenged. Neighbor. No one is poor. And the land is poor. There is no to take the one poor. And you know, there are people, that's a term that many Kenyans use every now and then. Is a poor, who's a rich. No. It's not about being poor. You'll be economically challenged. But,
Wow, that's
Clap.
so we see it there. All these are you know, as I.
how many kids are going out to university that came here from the streets? So far.
Yes, I know. South there. Lawyer. Yeah. The lawyer in the wedding used to see outside my level. Yes. Yeah.
And the lawyer is friend, my friend Karaoke is the lady, right?
Yes, Karaoke is the lady. And Jeffrey.
Yeah.
The
lawyer now. So you see, that story tells it all. And that story is not just an oral story. This is the story here. So it has bones and flesh. Yeah. From being, I saw you when I was teaching you, like the beauty that. So the floor is open. We will hear your stuff. We will hear your reflection. But I just want, in terms of what Jenga, from the story of Shangri itself, the story of Artizen, which is the story of Shangri, like butterfly, caterpillar, and butterfly, right? That we have it on this slide, you know. So the story of Shangri itself is the story of caterpillar and butterfly, because of what we are seeing, right? Hey, we are witnessing this process has done, and the fact that many people also have been part of this journey. So when we think about the issues to frame our conference around, you know, what are some of those issues based on this story? And it will be very important to hear from the young people here. What comes up for you as an individual when you hear your father saying that story of Chandelier? What would you like to do? What would you like to happen to other young people or other children? You know?
Well, I mean, I can start.
Yeah. How do you feel? What feelings came up for you?
Well, I just had questions.
Yeah.
Like about the families that the young people come from. Like I think you said the young people live here. Live. So where's their other house or their family? Like wherever condition it may be, is it also in the community or?
Some of them are in this area. Some of them are not from this community, but where they live, most likely it's even one from this community. Most of our children here now, there's unique ones. We get them through the government. There's a government facility where, say, a parent is jailed, a parent is not able to take care of the children. This is where the government or the forces round them up and they take them to a government facility, which has really nothing to offer. No education, the time is not food. So that's our main catchment. That's where we go and get it. But then we always maintain or look for their relatives. Because we believe they are not relatives, no, they are just a page.
So I heard three things out of what you just said. The justice system, not just parents, because they may be in jail or maybe not.
Yeah.
But juvenile justice, because now you're being collected by, I guess, like the police or some authority that's taking you, even though you may not have done anything, but you just, roaming because your parents are gone. So the justice system, both, I guess, juvenile and the main justice system. And then I heard housing, because you're saying that you said the place that they live in may be worse, and I think it's infrastructure.
We call them the slums. They're the locals. Maybe take a walk there. You understand what I'm talking about. These houses are made from iron sheets, very basic, small room, single room where all the parents and the 3 siblings or 4 siblings, they all live in that place. That's what you have here. But here are your basic amenities.
So a housing issue.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. It's of course even with meals. That's number one. Education is a big problem.
Okay.
So we come in and offer education.
Of the parent or the child?
Our input to the family. So
that's also, I guess that was my question, because why is it the education of only the child and not the parent?
One thing
Capacity.
We believe this child needs to move from that environment. That's a safe environment and where they actually be allowed to be children.
Okay.
You find children from these families at the age of 4 or 5 years, they're sent to the streets. Go and beg. They go begging in the streets. And
so I hear the issue because the environment could be more safe. Like instead of removing them from an unsafe environment, the environment could be more safe. And so you need a solution for the now. Immediately, maybe you have to move, but you need a solution for the future. And so both of those take, I guess, imagineering. So maybe temporarily is Shangalia, and Shangalia should always exist. But when you look at the issue is that the reason Shangalia has housing and not just programming is because the environment that they're coming from is safe. It could be like school every day where you go to school and you go back home, but home is not safe. Yeah. And because we don't have the capacity to make home more safe because of infrastructure of the place, but also mental health, because I heard jail or something like that. Okay, I'm just trying to unpack some of the issues.
Something else that, so the space that Shangalia is the space of they also like long term, because why like you have this in the university, it's because they're also building their future. So they also work Shangalia through their intervention. They build a way in which now they reunite kids back to their family, but now in a more empowered way. So they provide education, but they maintain also relationships with kids and family. Eventually, because they don't want to have to hear all their life. So eventually it's a process, they do the reintegration gradually. And in the long term, that helps kind of unite children back to their family, rather than just like keep them away from their family. So that's something really powerful. But what I just wanted to talk about, like when you think about framing this conference, is the power of theater to do that. Because there's many organizations in Kenya doing like this kind of work, but they've never used the power of the stage and the art. One of the things when I used to work with Shangri-La those early years is that kids, they felt so good that people could come to them now to see how creative they are. Instead of like when you meet them on the Kimati street, or when you meet them like what Jenga was saying, like when they're trying to be on the streets. Because if you find them on the streets, people will shun them away. There is a poem that kids used to say many years ago. They say, we have met again. Today we have met again. You remember Kimati street? Near the traffic light. You remember that one? How was the poem going? Say what was it? Yeah. The poem was very hard. It was like the national anthem of Nigeria. Can you remember the poem? Yeah, we need again. Yeah. Tell us that poem. So we meet again.
Serafina. You can see the song that used to sing the day. So kanyumba kangu kama pepa pepa kanyumba lepata sitikacho sasa mimi sina pa kulala nalala chini ya marondo na ukuta shindo kitama chini sisi nina ile nilikuwa ningali mdogo sana, nilikuwa nikisomea Shangilia huko mjini mtaa wa Kangemi, lakini mwenzangu acha niwaambie, hakuna kitu kibaya kama shida inapotokea mvua ina mawimbi.
So what is the meaning of that song? What does that song say?
So the context of the song, it says like in the streets we used to sleep under the lorries, in the the stuff that we can be looking at night. We just find ancient that is not protected, and it also says a problem like problem, shida, problem is a bad thing, like not being economically able to go to school, not having, the basic needs that we require. It's a very bad thing. So, but at the end of the challenge, like we found some people who are willing to help us. And now, at least it started with the shelter, the food, even if we didn't have education, finally we started getting education. For me personally, I can give my story. Like, okay, I came to Shangilia in 2003, and my mother, I have a single mother. My dad just died, and okay, my mother, they were even separated before I was born. So my mother didn't have shelter, so used to sleep in those stacks. Like at night it wasn't safe. So the chief of the area, it was the Ngong area, wrote a letter, then said that I should be brought to Shangilia, and that's how I came in Shangilia, and it was my home from then on. So I stayed in Shangilia when I was young, playgroup, kindergarten. Okay, that is baby class, and then I started my primary education. After my primary education, I went to high school. Right now, I'm in university. But even when we are young, we don't know, like we just think ourselves Shangilia. But when I was in high school, that's when then I was like, if I see my background, we are not financially okay. Even I could not, my mother is a class 7, and personally, she even didn't have a constant. But when I was then I was looking at myself, then I was like, I studied primary school for free, and here I am in secondary school. I have no problem for this. You know, like some other people, when they're sent back home, I'm not sent back, and it's not like my family is financially okay. So that's when I was starting to see like Shangila is really helping us. You know, when you're young, you don't know. You just feel yourself.
You go to the theater.
Yeah. I used
Theater
to,
helps you anyway.
yeah. I used to do dance, acrobatics, brass band. And yeah, I actually went to Germany in 2016. But then now, you know, yes, in 2017, I was in Form 3. So when you are coming back from school, I got an accident. Yeah, but on the first, but then you see, at that time, I got a compound fracture. Yeah, I got a compound fracture. But then you see, even the medical care, it was like I was really taken to good hospitals. And it was, I even wanted to repeat myself because I had lost a full term of my Form 3 and I wanted to repeat. So I asked if I could repeat and it was okay. No one complained about the financial, like about the money. You know, I was just told, you just do what you think is right. And you see, I repeated and I finished my course. So right now I'm in university.
But how did you feel when you were doing it?
When I was doing theater, I really felt nice. You know, most of the people outside, they think that when they see people do acrobatics, they see some people think it's difficult or not, maybe you're not talented. But you know, when you grow in a place where they do the theater acrobatics, you just see it as if it's a normal thing. So sometimes though, so when you start, like when you go for the exercises, then you start training, that's how you know, I fit here, I can do acrobatics, then you just stick there. I can do brass band, I can do dance. If you do it, when you do then you just stick there, you know, you do the theater. And if you feel like you like more, for example, let's say our teacher, Shabita, you know, I'm sure he used to also do dancing, but at the end of it all, he would continue with acrobatics. You see, we even used to have the choir. Personally, I like singing. You see, yeah, personally, I like singing. And it helps us with our talents because as we grow, we come to know there is acrobatics dance. We come to know about our talents and how much they can do for us. Because Shangri-La itself started because of theater. Like the sponsors, they used to do what we do, then it inspired them. And that's how we were even able to get our education. So personally, I think Shangri-La uplifts us, you know, because when you see the lot that Shangri-La has done for you, you also get inspired. Then you're like, let me do my best so that, because that person who was able to lift me, that right now I'm even doing, I'm in the university, I'm doing a degree, and I want to be, you know, I have hope of becoming an important person in the future. I'm also going to help the others. I'm also going to help others in the society. And you know, it's not only just me, even the alumni that they come here, they encourage us. And we also see how far they've gone. So, like, if you see all the children who succeed in Shangri-La, they also got helping other people because they were also helped, and they also see the impact. So I think that way it really helps even the country, because when they say like haba haba ujata kibaba, you know, like if you do little things, it becomes it has a great impact.
And the last thing, as the transformation of the life situation, how has that impacted now the relationship with the family now?
On the relationship of the family,
Yes.
actually my family is very friendly. Yeah, they are really happy and they keep encouraging us. Okay, so we always, some holidays we always go home. You know, if you have a mother, like my mother at some point, she was able to do a course for tailoring. Yeah, so that's what she says. So when the environment is conducive, we used to go primary. When you close, you go there. If the environment is not conducive, you just stay here. You see, but I also used to meet my brother. my brother was grew up in another family. He was also helped, but we were able to connect because I used to take care of them. So even as we grow, if they, during life skills, we are told how you should live. You should not let your troubles define you, but at the same time, you should appreciate what those people have done. My mother raised me when I was 3 years old, then I came here. So, like, when I go home, I stay there. If I see, like, the environment is toxic, if the environment is toxic, maybe she's stressed, maybe she used to be alone, she's financially low, and maybe I'm here. At some point, she sees, like, maybe she had not planned herself for the rent, for the budget. So you see, when she's stressed out, then she brings it out on you, or maybe do some other things, and you feel the environment is not safe because ignorance is a bad thing. Like, some people don't have knowledge, you see. So from my understanding of life skills, I just come and say, maybe I think I have a problem here. Just keep me here for some time, and they give us shelter. But then they just allow again my mother to come and see me. You see. So
I think but I would like to maybe so that we close this middle chapter, so that we frame our issue. Peter, if you came here, I told you when you were very young.
Wait, I'm sorry. Before we go to Peter, can we pull out the issues from what she said?
Okay.
Because I know that theater is the incubator,
Yeah.
theater is the seed,
Yeah,
but
right.
it's important that as the Artizen Conference is connecting artists and art culture to sustainable development. And that means having a lens that's big enough to go into her story, which is a very important art form, and pull out the issues, because theater is the outcome, right? But bringing the young person here, making sure, like what I heard was there were so many issues in what she said. And I don't want to miss that as we catalog all the topics that have taken place. I'm even listening to her story and I'm looking at food on the backyard, like, on the backdrop of her. And I'm like, that is agriculture is culture. And that is an art form. And I'm listening to her story on the backdrop of her diet and, access to it. And I'm like, okay, artists need to eat. That's an issue. Like, there's no theater without food because the artists need to eat. And so making issues that very simple. I'm looking at the fruits of the Holy Spirit, and I'm like, connecting these things as we talk. And her story, like what she's saying is artists need to eat. And I see food preservation cereals on that. And I'm like, food, nutrition, food, fruits of the Holy Spirit, food pictures on the back of her, talking about this story about how I didn't have enough to eat. So the chief sent me to the art school. And so I just want us to see art as more than just, I sing, I'm an artist. She is dance, he's acrobat, you're theater, but it is bigger than that. Art is everything. And until artists, the traditional artists, see art in every aspect of what we do and who we are and how we live, art as a way of life, we're missing something. And that's why we don't get seats at the decision-making table. Because they say, especially when they see the world from a European worldview, they see you as the help. Art is that thing they do in museums. So when we call you, you'll come. And when we want to see you, we'll go there. But art is everybody, all the time, everything. It is creation, even the ideas. And so it's important that the conversation is that Shangalia is the case study, but that we look at it holistically, because the chief sent her here not to learn theater, but because she was hungry. And he saw that she should come here because it was a safe space. She also talked about abuse. She said, when my mother can't pay the bills and when she's dealing with a lot of frustration, that she takes it out on everything and everybody, sometimes including me. And it's a toxic environment. And so I came to Shangalia because it was a safe space. Creating safe spaces for creation, that's an issue. And I'm hearing that, maybe, the imagery of the food kind of helped bring out the issue and all the graphics about food all around. But the fruits of the Holy Spirit, how to cope. It's a buzzword in the US right now, self-care. Everybody wants self-care right now. Right, but when you take care of the community, you take care of self because you are included in community. But I'm thinking, okay, how are you doing that as an individual too? The fruits of the spirit, what are those, and what does that mean for artists? And why is a school teaching theater have pictures of fruits of the Holy Spirit? What is that about? Is that a part of the curriculum? Is that in theater too? Holy, the fruits of the Holy Spirit. And so what I'm saying is look at your art holistically so that we can pull out the information we need from what you're saying to take that back to our experts so that they can do a full analysis. So I didn't want to cut you off, but I didn't want to cut you off, but I didn't want us to miss what I heard from your story.
Yeah. So you have something else to say?
More. Oh, we're not moving to, okay.
When Shamila uplifts that and inspires us to uplift others, such that when I'm successful, I plan on building a good house for my mother, creating a good environment, she can also get educated on some basic life skills, and also help other children.
Yeah.
I might find who are I'm in a very good position to know what they're undergoing before they went to do that, and someone helps me so I know how it feels.
I don't want to cut you, but those were two issues she mentioned that I missed. She said that my mother had 7 years. She was only in the seventh grade, educated, and that even though she only went to 7, she went back to school and she became a tailor. And so the learning didn't stop. That even though it paused for sustainability, that she kept growing and kept learning. And so creating spaces where learning continues beyond childhood or primary and secondary school was beneficial for her. And then you said something that was also very important. She said that I want to come back. I see that my alumni came back. And so I think that co-creation and connection is what I'm hearing about making that the standard, that coming back is not optional. Yes, we want it to be internal from this special place that happens naturally, but just in case you don't feel a spirit, we want you to know that it is mandatory that you come back and help and do something. So those 4 things. And I want you to know that even though we're having just a conversation, we are recording so that we can take real notes to take back and report to the people that are coming to work with you to develop workshops around these issues.
So I would like to hear that from you are here. You are theater was used and theater was used like in after confirmation, and then you said come back in theater, right? Why did you make that kind of a decision? Or where did that all come from?
So basically, maybe first I can say Shangri-La, the bridge, the magical one. Because you can imagine from the street or from a very poor background, then you get a platform to go to maybe Germany, USA. So when I was young, I think I started from pre-unit by then. And I came to Shangri-La and I saw people doing some somersault, singing, dancing. So I was very interested in it. And maybe initially, I've never seen people doing acrobatics and so those things, those stuff. So when I came to Shangri-La, that part touched me. And I said, one day, one time, I want to be involved in that. So maybe in grade 4, 5 there, plus 5 there by then. So I joined acrobatics and dancing. I used to dance, but now cannot dance. So, so after even going to secondary, university, then I saw there's a need for me to give back to the society. At first, I worked as I was not paid at first. I was only paid for maybe doing acrobatic teaching. Then one day, Mr. Jenga called me and said, "Hey, I want to employ you as a trainer in acrobatics." So, and I said, "It's okay." So from there, here I am training, and I feel very proud. I think I have that zeal to continue doing what I'm doing, and also to give hope and let these kids see, to visualize all they want maybe in future.
Nice.
Yeah.
So as we pull things out of what he just said, so we said art is everybody. And in a European worldview, art is at the hand of experts. I remember being in South Africa last year and listening to their choirs. Everybody sings. It doesn't matter if you're Whitney Houston, you don't have to be Beyonce. Everybody is a singer. You sing. And it's a communal activity. And I love how he said, I'm not a dancer. Or what I heard him say is that I didn't decide to be an expert, but dancing made me, it was a part of my development and who I was. And I think Shangilia is a good example of how the arts is everybody, that it is a part of your development as a person. Whether you decide to be an expert or not, you need to be intentional about cultivating your individual creativity. It makes you a better human being. And that really touches me because in Baltimore, they took art out of the schools. It's no longer mandatory for you to take choir or dance or any of these things. All they care about is English, math, science, you know, all of these core, quote unquote, subjects. But art is a core subject because like he said, it made me a person in that part, right? I'm a person because we're a people, which means being in community, and that creative energy together is, I think, us. We have to advocate that arts don't go away, that they are important, that they're relevant. And if anything, they're the most important. So thank you for bringing that out. I also missed one thing when I was looking on the wall behind her, it said, speak in the right language. And then it says English. Grade 4, 2021 rules. Number 1, speak in the right language, English. And on my car ride here, there was a taxi driver. I told him that, you know, we do in Tanzania work. And so I called him Kaka, which means brother, like you guys know. And I said a few Swahili words. And then he said, in Kenya, we have 2 national languages. We have English, and then we have Swahili, but I am Tukuyu, and I speak Kikuyu, and that is my mother language. And as he spoke, I looked at the community list. This room is a classroom. That's why I'm learning so many things. And I see, you know, Geriyama, Kaba, Nandi, Masai, Kisi, Gusi, Abawanga, and Kikuyu. And I'm thinking to myself, how did English and Swahili become the national language? And then Kikuyu is the mother language. And so I was just thinking about the important role of language in comparison to this for 4th graders, and to say speak in the right language. And then it's very clear after that, it says English. And so me as a Black woman that only speaks English because I was forced to learn it. And I think about, you know, there's an article by a theater artist named O.C. Davis in the US, and he says the English language is my enemy. And he said it's his enemy because when he looks in the dictionary, every word for Black is bad. Blacklisted, blackballed, you know, all of these things that are negative. And he said, this is the only language I know, so I don't have an alternative in my mind. And language, it helps us define the world. What would you say without words to say it? And you think languages, even inside your mind, you think words. And so the fact that you have a mother language, and then you have a Swahili language and an English language, you have different ways of seeing the world, and you can use them. And so I think that when you think about theater, just using Shangilia as the case study, right? Are your theaters that you perform, are they in English? You know, music is beneficial because it doesn't need a language outside of the music. Dance is medicine, movement, and you don't have to talk about it.
Actually, the song that they sang, so the song that is very popular with connected young people in Nairobi was Shang. They created their own language.
Shang.
Shang.
Oh, we created our own language too. I understand that. And Shang is real.
Shang is like the language of like the young connected to young people. So they might not necessarily use all the other, but they created their own language. That is why is
That's interesting. Is it only in Nairobi in the city or also in the village? Everywhere.
And it's the young people's language of almost like don't want
Shame. Okay, let's talk about that because they call it in the US, they call the dialect that Black people speak Ebonics. They say that it is no language, it has no basics, but we have our own words. It's true. If I'm sitting with somebody from my neighborhood, I can talk what they consider English and you not understand a word that we're saying because our words have new definitions. It's true. Now, this is my question, or I'll say this is the transition. Because we're now at a place where we have heard some of the issues using Shangalia as a case study. Now we're gonna go to different regions because we have all of these communities and all of these languages that you guys just mentioned, and I'm sure all those communities have a language as well. And because speaking the right language is English. I mean, I appreciate that you guys are speaking English because that's the only language I speak. But I wanna give space for other languages because this is not England. So having that been said, I want to start by introducing Kisimu. Now we're going to use another case study because we have enough people telling it like it is. And I like us to get into the habit of telling how it can be. And I mean, Shangalia is a holistic example of that. But I think going to another region and hearing example of their work, and then we can go west. And whoever from the west wants to talk about what's happening in Western Kenya, then you guys can give us another perspective.
So you said you are planning to go back to Kenya, right? Oh, and then you say also you like. Okay, so you guys are saying you finished like what time?
Are you ready?
6 letters. 6 to 8. So 5:30.
Should you go first? Okay.
I like talking around understanding. Well, before I say what we do, before I tell you guys what we do, I'll tell you a little about myself and the reason why I don't do this. I'm the only girl in our family of 5. I was so loved. And at the age of 11, I was molested. I don't want anybody to get emotional. Please. So I was molested by my classmate, the man I trusted, the person I trusted most, and I think my parents trusted him most in my life. He did so, and nobody believed when I told them the story. So I had to live with it. In the process, I became very rebellious. I could not listen to anybody, including my parents. I did bad things. I used to smoke marijuana. I used to do bad things. You know, when I say bad things, you know what I mean. So I really wanted someone to love me for who I was. Unfortunately, not even my parents understood what I was going through. So I decided to get married at the age of 19. I was very young. thinking that I could get love from that. Unfortunately, that did not work either, and I had to quit the marriage. So I started living alone with my kids. I have 3 beautiful daughters. My first born is a graduate. My second born is in second year in campus, and my last born is a Form 2. Yeah. So when I left the marriage, I decided I wanted to do something I liked, and to prove to everyone that I was not that bad girl they used to see. So I decided to form a group, and the group's name is African Cultural Group. I know some of you will be asking why I decided to use culture, the African culture. I used the culture part of it because most people get easily connected with the culture. So the messages I wanted to pass would reach them easily by doing it the cultural way. So my first song was about girls' health education and what girls go through and the advices of parents. Yeah, it was like. It means I had listened to my mom, even though they didn't listen to me. If I had listened to her advice of I should work hard in school and use my strength and become someone in the society, I would be flying in aeroplanes or maybe driving big cars. I have a dream for that. So well, that is why I formed the African Cultural Group to mentor, to empower, to nurture talents. And so far, we've performed in several locations. We've performed at the Rusinga Cultural Festivals, which is sponsored by the US Embassy. I've performed at the UNESCO Cultural Festivals, and our messages are always educative. Our messages are entertaining, and we use mostly music as a way of advocacy. We do our advocacy through music and dance, and mostly we advocate for a good health and education, social issues, such like things. Domestic violence is part of our advocacy, and I work with schools. I work with different organizations. I work with schools campaigning for girls several schools, and I've done several songs in that, and I've done songs on mental health. I've done a song on what do you call it? I'm sorry, I will remember that. So through our performances, we have also put smiles on others. We work with orphanages, we worked with the community, with some CBOs. We've built houses for people through our small earnings. We have taken children to school through our small earnings. We have mobilized funds for the vulnerable, for the elderly, and I believe we are going to do more, and we are looking forward to working with Shangilia and other organizations to make people smile, to put smiles in other people's faces. It's my prayer that it will work. And through art, we have done wonders. And we are still going to do it.
Yes.
I've done the girls' education song in several languages. I've done in Lingala, Luo, in Zulu, and I'm still doing more. I'm doing one in Swahili and another one in English. And I want the message to reach all girls in the world, not just Kenyan girls, Luo girls, but every girl child know the importance of education.
I don't know if we can reach all girls, but there will be many girls from many nations at the conference, and people will take those songs back with them.
Yeah, I believe the message will reach them somehow.
Beautiful, Hungary. Yeah. And I think Peter Kenge Marutu system.
And we have.
Yeah.
If I don't play with this, yeah, I don't think my grandfather would get.
Now, you guys know that Fred was here from an interregional peace network, but he had to go.
Hi, my name is Rita. I still remain Rita. I'm carrying Opar. Say Opar.
Opara.
Opar.
Opara.
Opar is African form. Wind instrument, and this is what makes up. What makes the position of our interpretation. Basically, instruments are self-made. Copper material, you don't have to use the best family. Yeah. And King was
How many years that is?
So we've been around for all that long, and every member of King is involved in China down with, and I'm sure we'll act like apart from the fact that we are we use music in when the singer can there or there after them. I don't know whether they hit the man it or her like that is what we do. Music is very powerful and it has very important functions that perform in our life. For example, we made me a support. I learn a lot from it. One, music and performance are very relaxed. Yeah. After all days of doing stuff here and there, you're tired. What makes you relax? Theater can also develop your personality. Yeah, in children first. All this I'm saying is it goes back to where like we develop personality. Vocabulary development and critical thinking as well when it comes to theater. We make children begin to look at them. How do you relate? Are you useful to that? Is that environment useful to you? Does that environment shape you up? You can learn all this through music and performance. Another important role that music has played in our community. The project we are working on now that is titled The Role of Music in Addressing Psychosocial Challenges. How does music come in to mitigate social problems that we have that is facing us? Discipline. There's a time when I was in Queen's High School I trained in Queen's High School for about 9 years. And we started a dance troupe at Queen's High School. The composition of the dance troupe was basically all the bad boys in the community. I was given all the dance members, the indisciplined boys. Leave you with me. The 1 year I was there, these boys, the first year, none of those boys were suspended from these places. As I said, why? It's the power that how the music uses to change people. Music can make you what you don't refuse. Through music, people are voted to be healed. Very scientific. You may not have all the time to diagnose. Basically, go into the nitty-gritty of how that healing happens. But let me just take you through the journey. That when you perform, you've seen people perform, you've seen people dance, you've seen people sing. A singer or a performer would dance out his or her heart out to a level that now you begin to think that that's superhuman. Have you seen that? Have you seen that? Huh?
Yeah.
What makes that happen?
And deal.
Deal. Why does that happen? Why does it happen? It happens because music moves you, takes you on a journey, both physically and mentally, to a level now that you begin to feel certain freshness, some newness in you, some temperament, some new feel that was not initially. To that extent, you get out of being what you are to something that is not is beyond human understanding. There's some connection between you and some spirit that leaves somewhere, that comes into you, yeah, and leads you to that level of connectivity.
Well, play something now. Help us connect that level of connectivity.
This apart, for example, is a tool that was actually this used to be the phone that we have today. Yeah, if you wanted to call for a meeting, for example, let's say you want 1,000 people on one, you will not go to every household. Hey, come on, come on. They had specific sounds that the subjects understood. They really connected well with those sounds. So that when you play this, they know this happens. When you play this sound, they know what they need to do. All right. If someone died, they had specific sound that told this happens.
That was for death. It was a whole party. We danced at the party.
So apart from this horn, in Kenya we have a root. Which I had the elder do that. We have a root. We have a metal ring called Ongengo. Orutu is the lie or fiddle. Then we have a sound box. Yangili sound box. We have Nyatiti, more or less like Obukano. Those how many strings? 8. Yeah. Nyatiti is the same way, but smaller in size now. We have Yawa. Yawa is the shaker. And quote that is all combined. I was forgetting one thing. That's the position of the now, with all this, what we do, we give back to the community. We go and train children in communities or families so that we pass this knowledge to the younger people. A time is coming when we don't have to see this, to know this.
Not if we have something to do with it. Yes.
And the documentation alone is not enough.
Yeah.
You need to physically think and
Yeah. Hey, listen. So just so that we hear the issues coming from them, remember this is research. Don't let them make you believe that being inside a classroom with a presentation board, taking notes is research. This is research because sound is vibration and it feels you. Me as an artist, I connect with what he did and it all made sense once he played, what's it called? Oporo. This is why, you know, visual is different from auditory. I love visual arts. I love things. Hold this. I love visual arts. I love when they happen, but this is why the performing arts and music is so different. Your brain is an interpreter. Your visual, this is your retina, right? Your eye, it perceives light from the sun, different rays. It goes through your retina, back on your occipital lobe, which is a part of your brain, and it goes to the back of your head, the occipital lobe here. No, this is your cortex. What is that? Come on, psychology. Who was that? Yeah. So it goes all the way back to your occipital lobe, and it's singing. What's that? So no, your occipital lobe is in the back, and yes, that is inside on autopilot, but your cerebral cortex is what, and it goes back to your occipital lobe. So light variation goes through your eye, and your eye interprets to your brain what color you see. So if you can sit in the back of the head, you might become blind because your eye can't connect to your brain anymore. Music is different. You don't need any interpreter. Vibration, your body feels that directly. So if I say, are you feeling me? Say, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. Say, I'm feeling you. I'm feeling you. Yes, you feel that physically. Your body feels it. And it's the same thing with this vibration. So even if you didn't have the infrastructure of your program, even if you weren't mentoring young people, even if you only went out and played those sounds and vibrations, it is healing to the community. We need certain vibrations. We are the rhythm people. It is healing for us to be around rhythm, drumming. That's why we designed it. The first heartbeat is your drum inside your chest. That is your heart drum. In the beginning was heart drum. With this vibration, we gave rhythm to the world. On this beat, we sing life. We're the rhythm people. Thank you for what you do. definitely those issues. And since I had to take a pause before I interpreted what you said, it was a lot. Domestic abuse, attack on women, and the repercussion of that. Using art as a way to heal. Let's just say y'all the healing section. And I'm so glad that you introduced that in a real concrete way, and that you are examples of the solution. You are medicine, right? Good medicine for our community. And we separate healthcare from art. Those are two separate fields, right? And we are doctors, and we have stethoscopes, and we're professionals. We go to school for this. But the truth is that we have indigenous medicine, and the art informed us, and it helped us to heal. Nothing but art could have healed you from what you experienced at 11 years old by the hands of the person that was supposed to educate you and protect you the most. Nothing but the art did that for you. And you are living proof. And so these are the kind of issues we need to bring out at the conference. And so thank you guys for being a part of that case study and for being from another region, so we can hear from another part of Kenya. It's not just a Nairobi conversation. It's not just a city conversation. It's different regions of the country that we're trying to pull into the discussion. And so before we finish, I think we said we have Western region. So I guess we can let you guys go, but I want to open the basket. Is there somebody here that has something to contribute to the basket? Something they want to say, an issue they want to talk about that they're addressing, that they're using their art form, whatever kind of creativity it may be, that you want to add to the circle before we pass it to the Western region? Anybody?
Before we why don't they play things?
And the collaboration, yes. So the final thing will be the dance and the collaboration. Yes, no need to wait. Thank you. So, there, yes. And I have my. Yes, okay, so I guess, are you guys together? Okay, I thought that kind of matched. So, the Western region.
Because I brought it from there to down there. In old days, they used to play down. Somebody has to sit on a stool. Then it was like one person, the one person is playing like the old band. Was you have to be somewhere to the street. You have to have the things. You have to sing. So it was like one band, one person, one band. So we brought it from there. So you can play it when you are starting, when you are relax to the stage. So it's like a research with it. It's a research. Then it's instrument, and also everyone can play whatever you want to play. Because those old guys, they have like if they see you playing like you're playing right now, they feel bad, they feel offended. Because it's like you're breaking the rules. But we told them we have to break the rules because it's not only you are coming old, but now becoming old. We need so many people now to play the net. We play the net. We come with we came with a scale of you can play the net like a box. Put it here, but when you put it here, you tune it with the modern tune. And you feel comfortable. Unit as the song. Yeah. So the story of Nativity is the story of Nativity is too long. Because we came with this form. Our forefathers believed in offerings of above. So they believe that we came with this from Israel. From Israel, we came to Egypt. From Egypt, we came to that. From Sudan, because we are fishermen,
into that way. So we are following the Nile. So we followed the Nile up to Kenya. Some of us went to Uganda, some of us down in mountain. So if you go there, you will find them still this kind of this. In some part of Ethiopia and Sudan, that's it. So, back to my story, second thing is when I was so my grandfather lived. So I learned it from him. That's why I went to school. We came to Nairobi, my parents were working and so, you know, this is like I was praised to street children. So we used to walk around the town, picking things from the dustbins, you know. But there's guns we used to put big bins. So they used to dance. So we used to walk around, seeing children being thrown at the street, and one children just being thrown at the street. So my parents decided to take me home. So I went, they took me home like 10 years, 10 to 15 years. I finished my primary school, secondary school, then I came back. I decided to go back to the music. Like that, in 2008, went to, there's a project called Kenyan Portrait on Kenyan. That was sponsored by Young Express. So we are the finalists. They recorded an album, 2008, with it was intercultural. All people playing traditional music in Kenya. They combined the album, different instruments, and produced an album, 2008. That's when we came. I started playing this thing parallel on 2005. So on 2008, it was seriously on the landmark. So that's why I became king after Ayubogada. Ayubogada was the
Kabaka.
Yeah. So I took it from my. So that's why now we are pulling up, we are pushing this instrument known in the wildlife forum. Forum of West Africa. Forum of West Africa. Here, what we have, the problem we have here, they don't love culture. They love modern. And us, we saw it. That's why we are pushing this. We are pushing, we are coming from the same point. The instrument last is from and this one was from celebration. We do it in they used to do it in weddings, so many celebrations, So this one is a office.
Yeah.
Spiritism.
So
you cannot just play this system when you don't have the fashion.
So can y'all play with the passion? And before you play, the issues that I'm hearing from what you're saying in the Western region of Kenya, one is major, what you said about the discord between the youth and the elders. It's not just, are we connected, but once we're connected, how do we preserve the culture? and them telling you, no, if you don't do it this way, it's not right. And how much of them are right, and how much of you and your young innovation is going to keep us sustainable? Because if you don't carry it on, who's going to carry it? But then are you changing it so much that it's no longer what it used to be, to the point where it is gone anyway? And so that's an issue. I also heard you say that there's a disrespect for traditional music and instruments because there's no taste for it. So I just want you to know, I also heard you got kicked back out of Nairobi and sent back home. And I think that spoke to me, because some of the young people in Baltimore City, where I'm from, they need to be taken out of the city and sent somewhere else so that they get enough time. I'm serious, because they're getting trapped up in the city before they become men. And you make boy mistakes. When you're a boy, you act like a boy and you do the things that boys do. But when you're a man, you act like a man and you do the things that men do. And so they don't have a safe space to become men. And so they get trapped and caught up while they're still boys, and they get caught in the juvenile justice system that he talked about earlier. And by the time they're men and they know better, it's too late. And so that was powerful when they said, no, he's acting ridiculous. We're going to take him back in the village so that he can get it out of his system. Yes, and learn his culture, learn the Natiti, and so he can come back to Nairobi as the king, right? So clap for the king, y'all. Now, please show us. You have to prove it now. Why are you the king? Sorry.
Okay, so I think we are good that we haven't heard from you, but you can tell us the story.
Sorry, my name is from TC. This instrument yes, and this was used this actually yes, and so it's like an activity. This instrument, I started playing with when I was school, right? And then I inherited this. I inherited playing this. So when I was young, I used to see how I do this, and then I started playing. And when we are going to do farming, and then I think this instrument. So this instrument is basically so easy to play. It doesn't have any kind of playing, and we use to sing this time. As I play this, yes, this I can do it. Yes.
I think everyone's having done. So unless there is anyone else from the young people who has anything, I'd like to know about so you can run it up.
Okay, I think it's been today, personally, I don't respect. When I approach me, this asking for respect. This is not it's the name and keep it anywhere. So you know, But here we are. Now you can see, I'll see you in the conference on this. You have a lot of space for you. So,
Yeah.
then you had with the insect, we shall also have a competition. And that competition will have some yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Yes.
So we have a snack, lunch. Here, you can pick your part. See outside, see here, get a lunch.
And we have everybody's contact information, WhatsApp, email.
We have
And your WhatsApp, we're gonna add you into the WhatsApp group.
Yeah, we don't have